And so now I was like, I'm a confident person. So if someone says that you can't do it, it's not that I'm trying to prove them wrong per se. It's just like, okay, I'm confident enough in myself that I can actually go do it, and I'll figure out how to go do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that is key too. If you, it's just betting on yourself, like you're talking about. You know, knowing that you may not know everything, or you may not know anything at all at this point, but the fact that you're gonna go out there and figure it out and get it done.
Yep.
AJ, appreciate you coming on, man.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah, super easy going. If you can, a couple inches from the mic.
Gotcha.
It's called the Real Estate Podcast.
The Real Estate Podcast.
Welcome.
I'll see if I actually know a few things. How about that?
There you go. What we like to do, we're no competition for us. Like, we want to promote you. At the same time, try to give out value for our listeners, entrepreneurs.
For sure.
Sometimes we'll go off on tangents and not even talk about real estate.
I mean, I'm all for going off on a tangent because I'm notorious for that. So
good, man. We'll have fun.
Whatever you guys want to talk about, I'm down.
Cool. Well, I think it's safe to say you are definitely the best 3-point shooter I've ever been around.
I'm old now, bro. I'm old. I'll take that title. 8 years ago, I'd take that title. Now I'm just going to be the old man still just trying to get a sweat in now.
I doubt it, man. I know you still got it.
I try. The funny thing is, talking about that league that met one of your agents, literally my wife signed me up for that. I'm sitting on the couch, and she gets a phone call from one of her coworkers, and all I hear is, yeah, I'm sure he wouldn't mind.
Yeah, he'd love to do that.
Yeah, basically, right? And I was like, well, him is me, so what wouldn't I mind? And she goes, oh, well, I just signed you up for Hill Country Indoor. You're on a basketball team with one of my coworkers' boyfriends. I was like, oh, you didn't want to ask first? You're just going to sign me up? She was like, yeah, you play on Thursday. I'm like, I'll be there, but next time ask.
I usually get paid for this.
Right. But it's good. I mean, we've been playing for like 3 or 4 years now. It's good. We actually won the championship one time, so it's a good time. It's get out and meet new people, which is, kind of ties into real estate. I think I've sold my teammates, three of my teammates have bought a house so far. So,
that's awesome, man. I mean, I think you're maybe like 3 or 4 years older than me. I remember.
Am I? I'm the old guy right now.
Well, I was just saying that because I remember actually watching you play in high school. Yeah. I went to Round Rock High School. You're McNeil, right?
Yep.
And my cousin Josh played with like Kirkendall and some of those guys.
Yeah.
And I think we talked about this. He was a white dude, super energetic, defensive guy.
I think, yeah.
And so I used to watch him play. I go to all the games and everything. So it was cool seeing you play.
I think so. I just remember one time at Round Rock. I don't know if it was like senior night for them, right? But we were playing Round Rock at Round Rock High School. And one of my teammates told me, he was like, hey, the dude on the other team was a huge Texas fan. And I had just, committed to go to Texas or signed to go to Texas, whichever one it was. And I guess dude got super mad and gets up in my face and says, you're not going to Texas? I was like, well, I am, but
I just signed the paperwork.
Just signed the other day, so yeah, I'm going. You may not like it right now, but I'm going. So
that's funny.
But yeah, man, you were really fun to watch.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah,
I had a good time. It was it was a lot of work because obviously when I walk in, I'm not intimidating in stature by any means. So it was a lot of work, but I had a good time doing it. It was a lot of stuff I learned from my parents, making sure that you get what you put into it. So it was a lot of work. It was a lot of time in the gym. A lot of missed nights with friends. But yeah, I had a goal. I had a dream and tried to go after it.
Yeah. So one of the parts of the show we like to kind of get into people's background. Obviously, basketball is probably. Would you say like that was your life?
Yeah, for sure. Basketball. I mean, so if we take it back a little further, I was actually a baseball player, bro. I was heavy into baseball, and what kind of pushed me over the edge to go with basketball was like every time I would go up to the plate, I would get hit, and I was like, yeah, we got to get some control out here. What are we doing, fellas? But every time I would get hit, and so I'm like, nah. So I kind of switched over to football for a little bit, And then that Texas weather kicked in. I'm like, I don't want to be outside. Let's go inside. You're right. Let's get some AC. And basketball just kind of took over. But the funny thing is, I was actually talking to my wife about it the other day because we just signed our son up to play like little kid basketball. He's like 4 now, so it's like little kid basketball. And I was like, I didn't do this. I didn't play quote unquote little kids basketball. I started playing basketball until I was in 5th grade. It wasn't. I played unorganized with my dad in the driveway, but it was more so of baseball, football, and then finally got into basketball right before middle school, and then it just kind of took off from there. So
yeah, and obviously, I know you put a lot of time into it, and also had natural ability. Like, I'm curious. I kind of want to get into this on the real estate side, like what applies, but like, what was your process? I mean, were you just shooting basketballs all the time?
It was to start, yes. Yeah, because you have to put the time in. It was, my dad and my mom instilled that in me early. Like, if you want to be good at something, you just got to put the time in and get better at it. So, for whatever reason, I took hold of that. And Christmas morning, I would go to the gym and get some shots up before all the festivities would start and everything like that. So it was pretty intense, but it was something that I wanted to do.
Christmas food's always better after workout anyway.
Exactly.
Right?
You come in hungry. But I mean, it was something that, sometimes I feel like parents kind of push their kid into doing it. And so it's kind of like a reluctant work ethic. For me, it was just like, all right, cool. I want to do this. So I'm going to go out and do it. So Pops, you can come or not. I'll be there. It wasn't him dragging me along. And the stuff that goes along with it, it was, you got to go through a routine. It just like with anything else. If the success comes in with the routine, it's not just, going out there with no plan. You have to have a plan of action, what you're going to work on each and every day. Took hold of that, and it kind of, I don't want to say digressed a little bit. It became more intentional, as opposed to, you hear all these guys talking about you gotta put hours on top of hours into the gym or into your craft. And I was like, no, you just got to be more intentional with your time. So the same stuff that I'm doing in an hour and a half, 2 hours, it's taking you guys, all day to do it. It's because you're not intentional with your time. And so that's, again, what I took hold of it, because it wasn't taking up my entire life. I was just intentional about what I did it. And when I had the time to do it, I would go do it. So I guess to boil it down, like really focused and zoned in and maximizing the time. Absolutely. I mean, because I wasn't the guy. I hated waking up early. You got these guys that I wake up at 6 o'clock a.m. and do this. I'm like, okay, well, I bet it's not the best of your ability, at 6 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning, unless that's just you. It wasn't me, So whenever my time was, I'll stay up late all day. I do it now. I mean, I'm up at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning just doing real estate stuff. But that was me. But it was, you're zoned in with a task at hand. A lot of people just kind of, do the shotgun approach. You're like, all right, we'll see what sticks. No, you got to go in there with a plan, whether you're working on mid-range for basketball, 3-pointers today, working on ball handling, whatever the case is, you got to be super intentional with it. And a lot of people think that, like Steph Curry, I'm pretty sure if you would ask Steph, like, how many threes he practices a day, I'm pretty sure it's minimal. As it was with me, it was very minimal shooting threes, because how you get good at it is, perfecting the actual form and the consistency of your form inside the arc, as opposed to just launching stuff from outside.
That's cool. And that obviously applies to everything in life in a lot of ways.
For sure.
Was there a point when you realized, like, man, I'm really good at this?
I don't know, bro. I don't really think that I was really, really good. I just think I outworked everybody. I wasn't the most talented person. Do I think that I had some God-given talent? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I wasn't, wasn't physically intimidating. It was just like, all right, cool. I worked at this, so this is the results that's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Because I put in the work. But I think there was at one point that my dad actually said something, because it was like at an AAU tournament. And we weren't even playing in a game. I was just dribbling the ball up the stairs, going through my legs, doing all this stuff, going upstairs. And he was like, he calls me Slim. He goes, Slim? Getting pretty good, huh? I was like, I guess. I don't know.
That's cool. And I figured, like, unless, like LeBron James probably knew he was good from the second.
For sure.
But, like, for most people, like, you're just putting in the work,
yeah.
Right? You probably, I don't know if you had this or not, but I know for me, like, part of the reason why I work so hard on what I do is I was scared of the alternative of working a certain way.
Yeah.
I don't know if you felt like that or not, but I would imagine there's something there, like, you never felt good enough. And so
right.
That's what probably drove you to work harder to get better at it. and in the process, you became great at it.
The secondary part of when you're working hard, or when you think that you're working hard, is that if you have a really good mentor behind you saying, well, somebody else is doing the same thing. There's going to be you're not the only one doing this, and so that's what keeps you going. Because again, you got people that may be younger, or maybe living in a different state, maybe live in a different country. Of course, when you're speaking athletic wise, you're like, well, they're getting up, they're doing the same stuff. So what are you going to do to separate yourself? You got to be consistent. You got to keep doing it. You got to keep doing it, because a lot of people will do it, and it goes into real estate. You got a lot of people that will work hard for 3 or 4 days. Whew, I just crushed it this week. Take a week off.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
It's crazy. It's crazy. And I mean, there's always ways to get better, and always learning new things every single day.
Absolutely.
Even after doing a ton of deals or writing up a bunch of contracts, you learn something new, and it's always about getting better and getting sharper and learning, right?
Absolutely.
We closed our biggest deal ever yesterday.
Nice. Congrats.
And
thank you.
Yeah, but the point about that was like, back to work. That's
Yeah.
what he says. Like, let's celebrate. He's like, nah,
Back
head down. I'm like,
I don't. It's the fun's over. Like once it's closed, after you win the game, or like for me, it's as soon as the deal's closed, it's gone.
Yeah.
I don't think about it anymore. It's what's next.
You don't want to rest on what you're only as good as your last deal, and if that last deal does not come anytime soon, then you got a lot of work to do.
Right.
And it takes a while to get deals going.
Yeah.
Do you ever get tired of talking about basketball or anything like that?
No. So
or having people ask you about it?
no. The only thing that I was really can I say pissed off?
Say whatever
Okay,
you
all
want.
right.
man.
The only
you're
thing that I
good.
really got pissed off about with basketball was when I was actually making the transition into real estate, and obviously I went to the University of Texas, and so we are considered the pro team around here because there's no professional team. And so when I was going through real estate, you're letting everybody know, you're trying to talk to anybody and everybody that'll listen to you. And so I'm telling them I'm going into real estate, and the response that I would get all the time was, oh my God, you're gonna do so well. If they had put a period right there, I would have continued the conversation with them, but they put a comma and would always say, you're gonna do so well, comma, because you went to UT. That's what would piss me off, because no, there was a favor that I did UT as UT did for me. It was mutually beneficial. But just because I went to school there doesn't mean I was going to be successful, because there's a lot of people with the UT graduation or UT grad that aren't successful. It is what it is. It's a numbers game. And so just because I have the UT title on my name doesn't mean I'm going to be successful in this. It's going to go back to why they wanted me to play basketball for them, because I worked my tail off to get there, and it was mutually beneficial. So I don't get tired of talking about it. I got tired of that. So I actually, and it was most likely 95% sure the wrong thing to do when you start a real estate career. I didn't talk to anybody from UT. I didn't reach back out to anybody. I didn't do anything, simply because I had it in my mind, all right, I'm just going to prove everybody wrong again. I'm going to prove everybody wrong, just like I did in basketball, because again, not physically dominating. So I got to prove people wrong on a day-to-day basis. Same thing with this. I'm not going to reach out to anybody because I don't want them to think that they had a huge role in the success that I see is going to happen. It hasn't happened yet. Again, mind you, just starting out. But I didn't want them to have any type of, oh yeah, he did it because he went to UT. And so I would say probably the first 2.5, 3 years, I didn't even bring it up my real estate career to anybody around there, simply because I wanted to build it on my own. Now, looking back on it, should I have swallowed my pride a little bit? Maybe, but I don't know if we would have got to where we're at simply by going that route. So
yeah,
I don't know. Hindsight's 20/20.
That's interesting, man. I hear you, and I'm trying to figure out like how I feel about that and think about that, because like I am such a big networker.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'd lean all into that.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
at the same time, I totally hear you. Like, I love when people tell me I can't. Like,
Right.
If you tell me I can't do it, like,
I'm gonna go do it.
I appreciate you saying that, because now I'm going to do that.
Well, and obviously that wasn't the case, and isn't the case, that because you went to UT you'd be successful in real estate. And I would think that people who would say that to you, just don't understand.
I don't, and honestly, I don't think they meant any harm by it whatsoever.
Right.
Did you guys watch that Michael Jordan documentary?
Absolutely.
And so that's the mindset that I took. When I think they told Mike that some rookie was going to go after him, and he made up this whole complete story, and he would do it throughout his entire career, just trying to stay motivated. And maybe that's the route that I took, because again, I was always. Do we really want him? He's not big, that kind of deal. So I think I just had that personality trait in me now. And again, when somebody said something to me, again, I don't think there was any malice behind it. They were sincerely probably, happy that I was doing it and wanted to see me be successful. But I didn't like that comma. They should have put a period right there, and I would have been all over it. But I didn't want people to think that my success was going to come from just because I played basketball at the University of Texas.
That's cool, man. And it's interesting. Like you think about like evolution and the way the brain works is like, and there's different phases for things in life. It's probably better that you did that to create certain skills, which we'll have to get into, and like what you did to find success, and then tap into that network. So like ultimately that is the way to do it, because you could have just, you started using the network, and I'm sure that you wouldn't have developed certain skills and mindsets that would have helped you be more successful in the future.
And that tenacity that comes along with it of wanting to prove somebody wrong, whether they were doubting me or not. I don't feel like they were. I just took it and ran with it because I'm like, that's not how this is going to go down. And so I think that tenacity and the drive to, just, I don't want to say be better, but just kind of show like, all right, cool. The traits, I already had these traits beforehand. This is why you guys wanted me to go to the school. I'm just going to continue to use them outside of the school, outside of the University of Texas or outside of basketball, and just be successful in a different route. I think, I do a lot of speaking up at schools and things like that. And I think a lot of times people just take hold of the sport that they play. Like they identify themselves with that sport. Like, people would kind of introduce me and say, hey, AJ, the basketball player. I'm like, let's hold off on that. Let's kind of do the introduction of AJ who played basketball. Just putting that who right there takes away the identity of basketball just being the only thing that I could do. And I think a lot of athletes still to this day, they just identify with the sport, which is why I think a lot of them hang on a little bit too long because they're of the fear of what's next. And I wasn't really fearful of what's next because, again, you can call it arrogance. I just call it confidence that my parents instilled in me that, whatever you decide to do, just go do it and be good at it.
Yeah.
And,
give it 100%. Keep working at it.
Absolutely.
And, whatever it is.
For sure.
And that's why I was wondering, like, that's why I asked that. Like, if you get tired of talking about it, I have friends that, have been doing real estate for 20 years. And he's like, I just want to sometimes go somewhere and people not like want to talk real estate. I just want to be a regular dude.
Yeah.
And so like, there's always something there. I think as humans, like we don't want to be put in any kind of box. Yeah. And that's why I brought that up.
It's funny you say that. I think I made a post on Facebook the other day. I was like, hey guys, if you see me dressed like this, we're not talking about real estate today.
Right.
But if you see me dressed like this, bring it on.
Well, what made you want to get into real estate, and where did that desire come from?
It actually all stems from family and sports and basketball. So my sister got her real estate license way before I did. I was still playing basketball at the time. I was living in Italy. I think it was my first year over in Italy playing ball. And at the time, she was studying to get her real estate license. And I was like, all right, just come live with me while you study to get your real estate license. And you can be my quote unquote assistant. I'll pay you a little bit. That way, when you go back, you'll have a little bit of money. It'll help you with your career. Right. So she did that. Before that, the reason why I started playing basketball was because of my sister, Ashley. Obviously, parents have decisions to make when they go watch their kids play sports and everything. She's older than me, so again, if she's on varsity, they're not going to come watch my JV game. They're going to go watch her varsity game. Totally understood that. And so I was like, all right, cool. I want some of this attention, So even before that, I was like, all right, they keep going to Ashley's game because she's older. Well, I want some of this attention. Maybe it's basketball. Let me take up basketball. It was inside, like I mentioned before, but also my parents seemed to go to that game, and it wasn't because of the game; it was because she was older. They had to, they go support her. And so I'm like, all right, cool. Let me go play basketball, right? And took hold of basketball, but my whole motivating factor behind that was just be better than Ashley, just be better than my sister. And I think I accomplished that. And so when she was studying to get a real estate license over in Italy, she kept mentioning real estate. And mind you, I had not looked into that whatsoever. I didn't know anything about real estate. And she was like, just get your real estate license when you're done playing ball. I was like, no, I don't want to be a used car salesman, because I had no idea what real estate was. And she was like, no, just look into it. And so I had got to that point. I think I played like maybe 3 more seasons after that. And so I started looking into it a little more. I was like, I can do this. I can transition into what I learned from basketball into real estate. And so my whole motivating factor getting started for that was be better than Ashley, right? Make Ashley call me for help in real estate, right? That happened. She actually got out of it. She just moved to Arizona, but I think she's going to get back into it now. But for the time being, while we were both into it, she was calling me, hey, what do I do for this? What do I do for this? I was like, yeah. We did.
What are you going to do next, Ashley?
Right.
I'm coming.
Exactly. I just need the blueprint. Just tell me what you're going to do, then I'll make it better. So that's honestly how I got into it. It wasn't, I didn't, so everything that I did in school was geared towards working with kids. And so when I finished playing, I went back and got my degree and everything like that. But I went into working at CPS, which was a whole different beast in itself because, again, I wanted to do everything as far as helping kids and everything like that. Found out quickly that it was not for me, and so went into a different sales job. At that time, I started studying to get my real estate license as soon as I got back. Worked at CPS for a little bit, and then went to a hardcore boiler room type sales job. It was a medical recruiting, like for doctors and placing doctors. It's called locum tenens. And so it was a plan. I wanted to do that. I'm like, all right, gotta sharpen my sales skills. Had no idea what sales were, but I was like, all right, let me try it. Let me see if I can get good at it. Cold calling all day, every day. I was like, this can't be life, right? This can't be it, where I'm just gonna be on the phone all day trying to place doctors in different states and getting them paid on vacation leave. That's what locum tenens work is. And so did that for a little bit, kind of got good on the phone. Again, still studying for my real estate license. Finally got it. Went to the manager over there. And I was like, hey, and I made it sound so grandiose, but it wasn't. I told him, I said, man, it's just getting so hard for me to run 2 businesses, and I just got to get out. I got to pick one. He was like, what's your other business? I was like, oh, yeah, I'm really big into real estate. Just started. Just got my license. Just got my license. He was like, oh, I didn't even know that. I was like, yeah, I just haven't really said anything. But that's kind of how it all got started. It was, be better than Ashley at basketball, be better than Ashley at real estate. And then, like I mentioned before, telling other people that, I was getting into real estate, and then proving wrong that it wasn't going to be UT that got me over the edge.
That's cool, man. And that's the mindset to have. I approach things the same way with, because I was going to ask, like, why did you go work at that company? And then you answered it while I was trying to learn how to do sales.
Yeah.
And like, I have some like long-term goals of getting into politics. Nice. And I was thinking the other day, like, I should go like do some improv classes. Like, that seems pretty scary to me, but learn how to like think on the fly and adjust, and that would be probably really beneficial for that. Yeah. So I just point that out because as people are trying to grow their business or get into anything, like, zone in on the skills. That's what you did with basketball, right? That's how you find success.
I tell my agents all the time, it's the success comes from the routine. If you don't have a routine, get one as quickly as you can. Because again, if you're just doing the shotgun approach, it's not going to work. You have to have something that you're going to work on each and every day. For me, transitioning from basketball, I mean, I had no sales background. You can't do a whole bunch when you're in college because when you're playing sports in college, because you're traveling and you got games and you got long practices. I mean, I was taking tests on planes going to games, so it's a lot of stuff that goes along with it. So I didn't really have the opportunity, like most, to go and do internships and learn all this stuff. So I had to learn on the fly. And it's a lot of it, YouTube University.
That's right, man. I think that is if not, one of the best traits for, someone in our position to have is the ability to not have to know everything. But like you just mentioned, understand the blueprint, get an idea where I need to go, get a few skills, and then just go run with it and figure it out along the way.
Because I think that's where a lot of people, you can kind of separate yourself from that, because you have a lot of people that know a crap ton about everything, but the ability to actually continue it on and actually make something of it stops because of whether it's fear, the lack of motivation, or whatever. I don't really have to know a whole bunch to get started. I'll learn on the way, but I'm going to get started. I'll make sure that we get the wheels in motion, whether or not I have all the skills or have all the knowledge right away. I'll get that, but I know it's not going to happen unless we actually start.
You got to be in the game.
Yep. Yep.
And specialize. It made me think of this quote. You guys probably heard this. I'm pretty sure it's Bruce Lee, but he was saying, "I'm not afraid of the guy that has 1,000 kicks. I'm afraid of the guy that's practiced one kick 1,000 times."
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah.
Right? You know, I was like,
because he knows how to do that kick.
kick the shit out of you. All right. So let's talk about like after you did the cold calling type deal, you zoned in on the sales skills. You said, I'm going to figure this out on my own.
Yeah.
What was that process like? And even up to where you're at now, like, well, you got a brokerage now. You said, I think you got 15 agents.
Yep.
Started doing, you said you started at another brokerage, right? Like, walk us through as much as you can of like what you were doing. What did that look like?
Right.
I mean, pointing this out for people that are new, like real estate looks fun, and we're having fun right now, and it is fun.
Everybody wants to be in real estate until it's time to be in real estate.
Right. And there's a whole unseen world that people don't see. Like,
Yeah.
if you can maybe like give some color and insight into that, like, what did that look like?
Well, I'll take you a step back. As I was in that sales job that I was in, doing the medical stuff, I was still studying. So it was, you have your manager walking around. I've got my iPad up trying to take courses while I'm at that job. I see him like, all right, go back on the phone, and then he leaves. I'll pull it back up, but I'll throw a bigger wrench into it. I was getting married at the time, so we were in the process of planning a wedding. And I mean, we didn't have a whole bunch of financial support from our parents, so it was us paying for the wedding. And I had a decision to make: do I want to keep this job while I'm studying or preparing to get my real estate license? Do I want to keep this job and finish paying for the wedding, or do I jump in cold turkey, no check insight for real estate, no commissions just yet, and just see what happens? I made the decision to wait until I finished paying for that wedding before I went in, took a leap of faith to get into real estate. And I'll kind of stop right there, because one of the biggest questions that I get is, should I stop the job that I have or keep it as I'm getting into real estate? And I think it's a personal choice. I think that if you have a goal to make it full time, then you got to set certain parameters. You got to set a certain plan to make sure that if you are going to reach that goal, maybe it's financially, you want to have a certain amount in your bank account before you can make that full transition. What I figured out is most people get into this business for different reasons. Some, like myself, wanted to be the huge breadwinner for the family. Other people just want, just to have a supplemental income. Both are fine, but there still needs to be a plan of action, especially if you're planning to go full time. What's your plan, and how long is it going to take for you to get there? So for the people that are actually deciding to jump into it and they still have that job, that's the decision that they're going to have to make. Is it going to be a full-time gig, or is it going to be something part-time that I'm working to get in full-time? And that's the route that I went to. I was like, all right, cool. I gotta pay for this wedding, because I would rather not have my wife be mad at me. Right? Finished paying for that. As soon as we got back from the honeymoon, jumped into real estate full-time. Right? And from then on, it was, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but I'll figure it out. I got on with the company that had a really good training program, but again, all the training doesn't prepare you for what goes out in the real world. You're going to get a question that just a training cannot help you with. It is what it is. And I tell the people that when I go talk to the schools for real estate, you're going to have to go fall on your ass. It is what it is. Go fall on your ass, go back and call your broker.
Yeah, we were talking about that the other day. New agents will get out of real estate school 180 hours, and then like, all right, now what do I do?
Exactly.
How do I do this?
Exactly. And so the real estate school doesn't prepare you for real estate. It just prepares you not to get sued. And that's fine. Nobody wants to get sued. They have all the laws and stuff in there. But the real estate comes from being intrinsically motivated. And are you an entrepreneur or are you a wantrepreneur? Which one are you? Are you going to go out there and actually learn how to do this? Or are you going to sit there and be like, well, I want to do this, and, I can set my own schedule, but, the morning of setting my own schedule, I'm watching a whole bunch of TV. It doesn't really work like that. So I went through the training courses. I did all of that. And again, what it always falls back to is, who did I talk to today? Did I talk to enough people today? Did I tell people about my real estate business enough today to satisfy tomorrow? And if I didn't, then, as being self-employed, you're the CEO, COO, and CFO. You get to fire yourself and hire yourself the very next morning if you choose to. Now, if you don't hire yourself the very next morning, then you got a whole different problem on your hand. you know. But that's the thing. That's the good thing about being in real estate is you get to fire yourself and say, well, today wasn't my best day. You're fired. Wake back up, hire yourself, look at your plan of action, whether you know what it is, and follow that to a T each and every day. And again, the success comes from the routine. If you do it every single day, you'll look at your pipeline and say, whoa, I got some stuff going. And you know, I tried everything. I did the cold calls, I did the door knocking, I did the open houses, I did the Facebook social media marketing. I did, you know, go join a whole bunch of groups. Love that, you know, love networking and meeting new people. So I did all of it. And I encourage everybody that gets into it to try all of it and figure out what you want to do, what you're good at, and what you're like, you know what, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this. So I know I'm not going to give my all into it because I don't want to do it. For me, that was door knocking. I tried it. Didn't really like it, you know, not saying that it doesn't work, but it just wasn't for me. And so I had to figure out what else I could do to compensate for not going door knocking. And for me, that was, you know, doing the things that I like to do, just doing it more often, but also being more intentional about bringing up real estate when I could. You know, for example, there's a lot of Christmas parties, stuff going on right now. If you don't make it intentional to actually go and look at what's selling in the MLS for that house that you're going to for that Christmas party, then you failed, because you know, like your friend said, somebody's going to ask you about real estate. And if you don't have anything thoughtful to say, then you just failed that interview. You know what I'm saying? So I can go, if I go to somebody's house, I'll go look, okay, this house just sold 5 days ago. It sold for this. Boom. I got 2 stats. I look like a genius now. That's all it is. Right. You know,
dude,
I look
cool. So Alex and I get to just constantly learn doing these podcasts. Yeah. And like, that's a great tip. Like, you should, anytime you're going to a house, look at the stats. Takes what? 1 minute, 2 minutes? Here's another one. And I don't want to cut you off. Keep going. But like, we thought this was fascinating. A lady was in here the other day, and her client, or a realtor that she knows on her team, goes to dog parks. Yeah. And the people with the big dogs are usually going to be buying a house soon. Yep. She said she gets like 5 to 7 clients a year from dog park. Never even thought about that. Yeah. But little tips. Learning, man.
So what's helped me the most is just doing the things that I like to do. I mentioned that Hill Country Indoor Basketball League that I'm in. Get a ton of business from other people on different teams and from my teammates. I go work out at the gym for whatever reason. I don't even know how word got spread, but people come and say, I heard you're in real estate. Yes, I am. What do you need? You know, so doing the things that I like to do each and every day. Again, you're intentional because you're following what your plan is. And sometimes that plan doesn't really include real estate, but if you bring real estate into it, then again, it pays off.
Mm-hmm. And you got to keep pushing forward. Yep. I think about it all the time. Like to rely on what's coming is kind of scary. Like, you know, the deals do keep coming, but not always and not for sure.
Not until the ink is dry.
Right. And so, like, you know, you sold a certain amount of houses this year. Like, there's no guarantee you're going to sell these houses next year. It's a weird deal.
It's all like what you said about, did I do enough today to satisfy tomorrow?
Yeah. That my mother, my stepmother actually, she they bought a house a few years ago, and we were in the closing room, and she asked me this. She goes, "So AJ, is this what you do all day every day?" I was like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "Do you just have closings all day, every day?" I was like, "I wish. I wish I was just sitting in rooms watching people sign paperwork all the time." I was like, "No, it doesn't work like that." She goes, "Well, how do you kind of, you know, foresee what's going to happen?" I was like, "You don't. You can't." People that say that they have $1 million on the books, it's just on the books. It hasn't closed yet, you know. And so that's the hard part about it. I mean, I think this year was, I've had the most deals fall apart this year, you know, due to COVID than ever. You know, it was. You look at it, you're like, okay, well, cool. This is why you don't count your money before you get it.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it makes you, you know, I don't know if it's fear or what, but it makes you keep pushing forward every day to do more and more and more.
For me, it is fear. I mean, I have a fear.
I feel that too.
I have a fear of. This is going to sound so wrong, and I don't mean it rude by any means, but my wife will come ask me all the time, "Do you want to go do this? You want to go do this?" And I'm not a big traveler. She loves to travel. I mean, I've seen the world, so I'm kind of jaded on that. I was traveling from Russia, Jerusalem, Moscow, you know, Spain, Italy when I was playing basketball. So I was like, "Hey, it's not what you're gonna think it is. It's not that nice." Or I'll say, "Yeah, it's pretty nice. We can go there," you know. But it is. I'm not a huge just get up and travel. And so I always say, well, do you want to live under a bridge? Like, I got to go make some money.
Right.
You know? And so it's rude to say that, but I don't, there's a fear factor that comes into it because I don't, you know, I told this to my friend the other day. I said, whenever you get married, if the marriage falls apart due to finances, 99% sure no one ever goes to the wife. They always come to the husband and say, how'd you let your family get like this? And so that's how I operate. I'm always going to try to put my family in the best position possible so that we are not failing financially. Kayla trusts me 100% with finances, which is really awesome because she knows, you know, one, I'm a numbers guy, and she knows I'm going to make the right decision. If not, you know, it'll be, we got close, you know. But it's something that there's a fear that comes along with it because I don't want to let my son down, I don't want to let my family down, and I don't want to put them in a bad position to where we're now having to scrounge for anything that we need. I want us to have an abundant life, to making sure that we're all satisfied, and we can go travel if we want to, we can go buy this if we want to. Doesn't mean we have to, but we can if we need to.
Yeah, I love it, man. And I think that's like the basic need. You got to keep that going.
Yeah.
For me, like my fear, honestly, even at this point, is like I'm scared of people telling me what to do. I really am. Like, I don't want anyone to ever tell me what to do. And real estate allows that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have to do it. No one can tell me anything right now. But like, I got to keep that going because you said it can end. The deals can stop.
The funny thing about that is a small reason of why when I first got into real estate, and then I joined the company that I was with, part of the reason why I was like, I got to get out of here as quickly as possible. Nothing to do with the actual brokerage. I hated, insert any word that you want. I hated having the email of another man's name. Absolutely hated it. What's your email? AJ@suchandsuch.com. AJ@suchandsuch. I hated putting that name right there. And so I was like, nah, I can't. And maybe it was ego, but I couldn't do it. So that's why my company is not, you know, AJ Abrams Realty, because I know I'm probably not the only person that has that feeling, you know. And so I don't want anybody else to have that feeling that if they are a rock star agent, just don't want to be with me because of that. Now, naming your company after, I think it's awesome. Yours is named after you. That's awesome. I just didn't want to have it simply because it's like, I'm just, every time I give out my email,
No, that's good insight.
That's a great point.
I never thought about it.
Yeah,
it's good insight.
It was again, maybe I'm just too arrogant. I don't know, but yeah.
You're an entrepreneur, right? Like, not everyone wants to, you know, do all the back end stuff that you have to handle,
right?
The accounting, the taxes.
Yeah.
So some people do, some people don't, and
yeah.
I think sometimes it seems a lot better than it is. Like, we still got, you know, people to answer to. We still got employees. We still got clients. We still got the IRS.
Yep.
And everyone's just a little different.
Yeah.
But that's actually a really good point. I never really considered that.
And so
I hope that wasn't rude, bro.
No, it's great.
Not at all. I just think it's entrepreneur minded. And the only thing it made me think of, because I preach it, man. Like I said, like, if people want to buy houses, call AJ. There's no competition. I think you're a great agent. You have a great team. We're not competing on any means, and there's this abundance mindset.
Right.
And people on our team, like, I support that. If they want to go open their own business, have at it. Like, I don't.
Let me know how I can help. Exactly.
Yeah. So I appreciate hearing that, and I think when you think like that in life, things work out better.
For sure.
You know.
For sure.
So.
I think, you know, it was a struggle for me to leave because of everything that's kind of set up in those bigger brokerages. It's really tough to leave, especially if you have stuff on the books. And for me, it was, you know, I tell as soon as somebody joins my company, do not stay unless you want to be here. I'm not going to prevent you from leaving by any means. You know, even if you have a deal on the books, if you leave before that deal closes, I'm not the company that's going to hold your check. As soon as it closes, I'll get you your money. You know, if you feel like somewhere else is going to be more beneficial for you, who am I to hold you up? You know, go do it. If it's not what you thought, more than welcome to come back, but I'm not going to hold you up.
Yeah, and I preach. I'm the first person to tell it. We posted a video the other day. I'm the biggest believer in betting on yourself.
Yep.
Not that that's like always right, you know, but I say, like, look, you're either betting on someone else or you're betting on yourself.
Right.
And seems like an obvious answer to me. And not necessarily, you know, brokerage is different. Like, you can be at a brokerage and be betting on yourself.
For sure.
But I just fundamentally believe in that.
I do too.
Yeah.
It's funny that you say that because, again, me and my wife's a basketball coach. She's a coach at Lake Travis. And so we talk a lot of sports. And for whatever reason, every time something's on Longhorn Network, she'll get a text, I'll get a text of the game. AJ's on Longhorn Network. I was like, guys, I was there. Got it. I was there.
Don't need to rewatch it.
I was there. I know exactly what happens. And so she would ask me all the time, why'd you always want to shoot from so far out? And then she'll give me a hard time and she'll rewind it and say, look, that person was open. It goes back to what you were saying about betting on yourself. I know I worked hard. I know this shot that I'm about to shoot was not by chance. I worked to get this. So I trust me shooting this because I put the work in. I'm going to bet on me as opposed to this person over here who may or may not have put the work in. I know I worked harder. It may be an easier shot. I trust me. I'm betting on me. And my percentages say that it was a good choice. And so same thing with real estate. I'm going to choose to bet on me each and every day. Not saying that anybody else is less than or better than me. I'm just saying I trust me. I know what I'm willing to do. I know what I'm not willing to do. I know that I have the discipline enough to go do it. And that if I set my mind to it, it's going to get done. And so I'm betting on myself each and every day.
Yeah. All about it, man. That's the only way to live.
Where do you think your view on real estate is now, maybe from when you started? So you have your own real estate brokerage, started off as an agent. Now you own your own brokerage. Is it all, what'd you say?
Hard.
Well, is it all sales? Are you looking more into investing or into different things like that?
I want to get more into the investing side of things, and that's where you guys come in. But it's more so for me, and from the company standpoint, I want to make sure that I'm coaching the agents enough to do well for whatever goals that they have set. So it's company first, me second, and if that can kind of resonate.
Has to be that way.
Yeah,
for
sure.
And I've gone to his meetings, and I respect the way you do them. You can tell that you care about the team.
I appreciate it.
It was cool to see how you run the meetings.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I want to put those guys first because if you think about it, they put a whole bunch of trust in me and in yourselves to want to join your company and help them learn or further their career. So I don't take that lightly. I want to make sure that they're good first. And then for me, making sure that my family is good in terms of finances and in terms of setting us up for the future. And that's where the investing side of it comes in. So eventually, personally, not from a company standpoint just yet, but personally, I want to get more on the investing side of things. But as of right now, it's making sure that they are getting what they want out of this business because, again, it goes back to what we've been talking about just in a different word. If they're getting what they want, then my needs will be met as well.
Yeah, I mean, they're your clients.
Yep.
They're our clients.
You got to treat them like a book of business. You got to check in with them. Happy birthday. Happy anniversary. Hey, how's everything going? I see you at your little down today. Tell me about it. You got to do all of that.
and you like it, right? Like,
yeah. It's.
I mean, we just had a agent of the month. We took Dorian out to Jack Allen's, and it's fun.
Yeah.
We're doing it. We're business savvy, but at the same time, it's life. We're not. It's not all just money. No, we're enjoying it, man.
Relationships.
We're right now. We're working. We're also having fun, but we are working. You know what I mean? So
that's what I told. It was. I had a meeting with a potential agent, and I was like, "Look around. This is work for me right now. I'm in a coffee shop talking about real estate with the potential of you joining my company and helping you further your career. This is work.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful."
What were you about to say? I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No, you're good. I think I was just going back to the having to take care of other people and making sure that everybody else is good first. And I think that, I don't personally have a family with kids or a wife or anything yet, but that will be the priority then. But I mean, with the businesses, you have a bunch of people relying on you, right?
For sure.
Like Matt has an assistant. Is that still happening?
Yeah, man.
That's moving down here from
I'm jealous.
From Washington.
So it's a big deal. She's like, I'm gonna move down there, and I feel like it's probably the scariest thing I've ever done because I feel very I don't know, responsible for making sure this goes right. That's pretty freaking scary. It's interesting. I'm like, I really don't even kind of want to do this, but whenever I feel like that, it's like that's more of why I should do it.
Right.
It's like if there's that, because I'm just scared of letting her down. That's really what it is.
Exactly. And that's it comes back to, I don't want the people that decided to sign up with my quote unquote startup company out of nowhere to be let down for things that I could have controlled. Are there things that I can't control in real estate? Yeah, for sure. But if there's anything that I can control, I'm going to try to handle it as best I can to make them not only proud to be a part of the company, but also proud that their business is where it wants to be. That's, it's a relationship type of deal. You get to know a lot of people that way. You get to see their ups and downs. That's what I like about it. The other factor of that, starting up your own brokerage, I mean, it's a lot of late nights because I'm still doing it all. I'm scared to death to hire an assistant because like yourself, I don't want to let them down. What if always comes into mind. And so, there's a lot of late nights where I'm doing taxes and payroll or DAs, making sure that they're getting paid at the table and things like that. And it takes a lot of time. Maybe I probably should do it. I mean, my wife's knocking on my door. Hey, anytime, I'll leave teaching anytime. Just let me know. I'll leave teaching. I'm like, no. You keep that job. So I probably should do it. It's just, there's a lot of stuff that goes into the back end stuff, what I like to call, the non-sexy stuff. I'm outside spraying down my signs and everything. It was like, the non-sexy side of real estate that nobody thinks about.
Yeah. You should start marketing all the opposite stuff. That'd be cool.
Are you sure you want this life?
Don't get into real estate. It's fun, man. So what are the goals for you? Like, I don't know if I'm kind of like the worst at this. Like, I just keep going. I don't have this very clear picture because I love what I do. And I don't have the, I want to sell my business and retire kind of mindset at all. Do you have any kind of goals for your business? Maybe do you always see yourself selling, or do you want to get out of selling and only have your team selling?
So I think I kind of operate off of, I have to have a plan. Otherwise, I'll sit down and watch TV, or I'll be like, oh God, I don't have anything to do today. If I didn't actually have something written down, even short term, but as far as long-term goals, yes. I mean, immediate goals is I want to get to 50 agents. Okay. I still want to continue selling. I think I do a really good job of letting the agents know that come on board, hey, I'm not taking any of the leads or anything that come in from the company. It's all dispersed to you guys. I've built up a really good book of business that it's off referrals now. So I still want to sell because I want to make sure that I'm personally, for my own book of business, that I'm actually excelling from the people that trust me enough to still say, hey, go talk to AJ. Ultimately, do I want to get out of it? Yes, I want to get out of selling, have the brokerage established enough to where everybody is, what I like to call everybody's eating, selling all their stuff, selling, buyers, sellers, leases, whatever they want to do, and then go more towards not the stereotypical coaching world of it, but I want to be more of the consultant type. Hey, what'd you do to build up this business? How did this work for you? What are the ups and downs and things like that? And then that'll allow me to do more things, which is honestly where my passion really lies. I love to go speak to schools. I want to really get into going to speak to businesses as well, because I'll put you in my brain a little bit. How I operate is, if I was good at sports, if I was a good realtor, if I was a good broker, if I was good enough to establish a company that is rocking and rolling, agents are doing well, agents are happy, then you have no choice but to listen to me, because that's 4 things that I've been good at in an entire life. You got no choice but to listen to me and say, hey, how did you do this? And so now I can go talk to different startup businesses. It doesn't even have to be in real estate, and coach them on what it takes, the focus on what it takes to do there, to get there, the discipline, not even anything business related, but more so the motivational factor behind it. What's your why? Why are you getting up every day? Who are you working for? Because if it's for yourself, then you're not going to be in this very long. It's more so, I want to do that to different businesses and schools and things like that.
That's cool. So you feel like you've got something that you've figured out. That if you do these things, it works.
For sure.
And that's kind of what you want to get out there to allow other people to do that.
Right. Because, I tell people all the time, real estate is not hard. I shouldn't say it's not hard. Real estate is very hard. It's very, very simple, though. There's you step by step. Do this, but do it every day. Mm-hmm. And most people don't have the the discipline enough to do it each and every day, especially because there is no check-in site just yet. 6 to 8 months freshly getting into it, you may not get a check. If you do get one, you're still not getting paid for 30 days. So it's how can I do this each and every day without the thought of money being on the mind, but how am I building my book of business each and every day to where I can start relying on referrals to come in and things like that.
If there's one thing or one mindset or one attitude that has led you to success in basketball as an agent, the brokerage, what would you say that is?
One word: confidence.
Confidence.
That's it.
And where does that come from?
It comes from my parents, and he would. It's very dark when he would say this to me, but whatever. It's very, very dark. But he would say, hey, Slim, if I were to leave this earth today, I wouldn't leave you money. I wouldn't leave you anything but confidence. Because if you have confidence, you can go do anything you want to do. And so, again, I took hold of that. And, again, that's why I think sometimes I teeter-totter on the line of arrogance versus confidence because I think I can do everything. Now, can I? Yeah, give me some time. I think I can figure it out. But there's the confidence that lies, okay, if I put my mind to it, confidence first, figure out the plan and do the plan, put the discipline into action and actually get it done.
But would the confidence comes from knowing that you have you're going to do what it takes to be there. It's not like a blind, or maybe it is. Like you're just like, I'm confident, whatever it is.
It comes from confidence from just yourself first, because again, going back to basketball, I didn't really know I was good at basketball. I mean, my people had to tell me. I was just like, all right, well, I'm just out here practicing, and so it didn't come from me actually seeing the ball go through the hoop or me dribbling or doing well in games. It came from me just
doing what it took.
I figured I can do it. I'm just gonna go do it now. And the same thing with real estate. It was like, all right. I mean, if I said I was going to do it, I'm not going to fail myself. I know what it takes to be successful because I've done it once before and didn't really have a blueprint. It was just like, all right, I put in the work to go do it. And so now it's like I'm a confident person. So if someone says that you can't do it, it's not that I'm trying to prove them wrong per se. It's just like, okay, I'm confident enough in myself that I can actually go do it, and I'll figure out how to go do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that is key too. If you, it's just betting on yourself, like you were talking about. Knowing that. You may not know everything or you may not know anything at all at this point, but the fact that you're going to go out there and figure it out and get it done.
Yep.
I love it, man. I guess 2 more questions before we get out of here. I'm thinking about back to basketball. What is there one moment or a few moments, like favorite moments that you have from basketball that like just stick out? Like, man, that was
so favorite moment in college.
Yeah.
Right. It's actually 2 because one's the first time I ever dunked a basketball, and I was in college, and it was the Sweet 16, and that one runs all the time on whenever the tournament comes up. And I didn't even make the shot, But what I think about is I was a freshman, so if you think about it, you had LaMarcus Aldridge on my team, had PJ Tucker on my team, Daniel Gibson, Brad Buckman. Kenton Paulino, had a whole bunch of big names on the team, but I was on the court at this point in time. I was like, oh, somebody saw something in me, right? And so we were playing West Virginia, and they had a guy named Kevin Pittsnoggle. I think his first name was Kevin, but I know his last name was Pittsnoggle, something like that. So we're up. He comes down. It was like maybe 10 seconds to go. He hits a 3. Now we're losing. We don't have any timeouts left, and so you go back, you revert back to what you've been training. What you've been trained to do. So they take the ball out, I call outlet, cross over the side of the court, and I'm about to shoot it. Somebody runs at me, and I kick it off to Kenton Paulino. He makes the game winner. Ball goes through exactly when the buzzer goes off, right? I was like, this is what they're talking about when they're talking about the NCAA tournament, right? This is the NCAA tournament right here at its best. And so we won that game. We go on to play LSU in the Elite Eight. Literally one game to get to the Final Four. You guys remember Big Baby Davis, Glenn Davis?
Yeah.
Lost to him, and I think his name was Tyrus Thomas. And there was another dude, Garrett Temple. Garrett's still in the league right now. So not a bad team to lose to. They were pretty good. But that kind of sums up the NCAA tournament, because you think about it, it's not like football to where you play a game, week off, play again. Basketball is you play that day, and especially in the tournament, you play that day, rest day, game. So you're on a high, right, for that night, part of the next day, then you go to practice, then you obviously got to prepare for the next game. you lose the next game. So like you think about the emotional stuff that goes on in a span of 72 hours. You're like, yeah, season's over. Wow, all right. So that was my freshman year. That kind of sticks out into me. But the second one was literally in practice, and we were playing half court 5-on-5. Rick Barnes was drawing up a play for the other team, and we were just kind of just waiting for the play to be called. And I grabbed the ball, just went up there and dunked it. And all my coaches were like, I was like, yeah, I didn't know I could do it either. Just happened. I don't know. First time ever, but that was the first. So those two are the things that kind of stick out in college. And there's several in high school, because I love my coach. Still talk to him. He's actually trying to buy a house right now, Daryl Hageman. Loved him to death. And one of the things, my best friend actually passed away while my senior year in high school. So there were two big events. My parents got divorced in my senior year in high school, and my best friend passed away from cancer in high school. And so that's a lot to throw on a 17 or 18-year-old, right? And the reason why it sticks out to me is because of what he said. And I was the guy that I really didn't show a lot of emotion. I still don't show a lot of emotion, because I took the whole Tim Duncan approach. Like, you're never going to see me sweat. I don't care how bad things are. You're not going to see me looking like it's bad. I'm still face the whole time. And so I laugh about it now, but he called me up there because I wasn't doing anything in practice. I was just like, what the hell is going on? And he goes, you know what, AJ, you just need to cry. I was like, crying doesn't solve anything.
Wow.
Yeah, but he was super dope for that, because I mean he saw that I was going through some things, and it was, it obviously crying, you go through emotions, and crying actually does help. I'm not saying that it doesn't, but that just wasn't me. And so I was trying to fight it off the whole time. I was like, no.
That's awesome. Did you know Coach Knight at Round Rock?
I did.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
Coach Knight. So it was a big thing that I was supposed to go to Round Rock High School, bro. He was.
We should have got you. We could have been great that year.
Could have been great. Him and my dad were actually really good friends. And so he wanted me to go to Round Rock. I was like, bro, I live right down the street from McNeil. I'm not going all the way to Round Rock. And tried. I was like, no, I'm good. But he was the one that actually worked me out as I was preparing for the draft and everything, getting ready to go overseas. I was working out at Round Rock High School with Coach Knight.
No, he was wild, man. I never played for him, but he was always clowning around and always had something going on.
It was fun.
Did you remember him or no?
We played.
He was larger than life.
He was so loud, and he would drop the play. And I mean, even during the game, you could hear him always saying, cash it in. And we were like, oh my God, be quiet. Because he would draw up the play, and that's when you knew the shot was supposed to come, because he would just yell out, cash it in.
Do you remember my cousin by chance? They called him Bunny. And like, Knight would put him in, and he's just like hardcore defense.
I probably didn't like him. I probably did.
He was like, dude, he was all over it. But I loved watching, man. And anyways, memories. But for the listeners, for yourself, like,
yep.
How can we add value? How can listeners add value? What are ways that people can help you out?
Man, it's not a matter of them adding value. Just let me know how I can help you guys.
Yeah.
I think whenever I can be a resource for someone, again, obviously we have a mutual respect for each other. There's an abundance of business going around. So
yeah.
If it's something that I can help with, whether it's, you need a referral for a vendor, looking to get into the business and want to have a set of different ears to talk to, or just to kind of hear their experience, just let me know. I mean, sure. I'm all for it. That's one of the reasons why I love this business, is I get to help on a lot of different aspects of people and in the business aspect of it as well. So yeah,
that's
just
cool.
Let me know.
Man. Yeah, we have brokerages that we call and we're like, hey, how do you do this or that? Yeah. And people help out.
Yeah, I mean, if you're willing, I'm willing to help, and a lot of people really don't know people are willing to help because they haven't asked yet. So if you just open up your mouth and ask, a lot of people are willing to help.
Answer's always no if you don't ask.
Exactly.
What are ways people can get a hold of you, find out about your company?
Yeah, SupremeOneRealty.com. There is like an actual page on there that's devoted to people looking to get into the business. But I mean, social media is really big, so you can go to facebook.com/SupremeOneRealty. Same thing with Instagram, same handle. And then, of course, phone number is 512-800-5539. Give me a call. Let me know how I can help. It is something that I am really passionate about, simply because I get to help.
Awesome.
That's it, man. We appreciate you coming
Appreciate
on.
it.
Absolutely. I appreciate you guys having
We're
me.
in Opportunity City, so it was opportunity everywhere.
It is.
Man.
It is. Got to go out and get, go out and take it.
Let's get it, baby. Thanks for coming on.
Absolutely, man.
Thanks, guys.